Welcome back, everybody, to our winner's semis side of the tournament, actually. This is when you're guaranteed top 5 in a Nintendo tournament. That says a lot.
And we've been seeing pretty impressive plays from these kids, actually.
Yes.
We have currently the Bayonetta main versus, I'm not sure.
I believe this was we will see in a moment. I believe this was the Cloud, if I'm not mistaken.
Cloud, yes.
And obviously both these players are phenomenal. You know when you see people writing tutorials on how to play characters, I feel like they might have taught a couple of them. So this is definitely some very exciting play because you normally only see these at really big tournaments.
Yes.
And it's just amazing to see that these kids are just 12 years old and doing all of these things.
I wonder if they actually watch the tournaments and they use those tournaments as references to kind of improve their own gameplay.
It's possible, or maybe they're just natural. Everything's natural. But yeah, good job. That's all you can really say. They're both doing so well, and everybody's doing well. To make it this far, out of 64 people?
Definitely. And funny enough, I was actually talking to the Bayonetta player, and I was like, oh man, good stuff. And he just gave me a nod. Just a nod, like, oh, he's ready for this. All right, so here we have Bayonetta versus Cloud. Now, both of these characters, they're really strong. We could already acknowledge that. Wow!
Oh.
So I just want to call that, I believe his name is Ivan. So I want to call it the Ivan special. Oh, the Ian special.
So the really smart thing is the fact that obviously Ian keeps using great use of the down smash from Bayonetta, but Ivan recognized the situation and up B right away so that he could live.
Ooh, missing the up smash from that Witch Time. So me and JC were talking about it earlier. Witch Time is Bayonetta's counter. That is her down B.
Yeah, and if you actually hit someone with it, you have a certain amount of time where you can do any attack that you want of your choice.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, you can't use it too much because the duration of time that it lasts gets shortened each time.
And is Bayonetta going to make it back? Yes, very smart stuff coming in from Ian, but Ivan does not care and is all over Ian. Just great stuff and still trying to edge guard.
Oh no! Unfortunately, he was under the stage and got caught by the stage with his up B, so he unfortunately self-destructed there.
On the plus side, though, the slight silver lining is the fact that he does have Ian at a very high percentage. So
Wow.
he can make it back.
So that was actually a really scary situation for Ivan there. He almost got spiked by that. That definitely would have spiked downwards, especially with the percentage that Ian has. I was mentioning earlier about the color of the percentages in the bottom and what they kind of indicate. With that rage factor that Smash Forward provides, that would have spiked Ivan downwards.
And he wouldn't have came back as well. Right now, Ivan trying to get that last hit so that he can actually get rid of Ian's first stock. It's so difficult to do sometimes. Right now, he does have Ian off the stage again, but tried to use the down B from Cloud to actually get rid of Ian's stock, but Ian even spotted it and just didn't jump that high. And Ivan's still working on Ian's first stock, and just good stuff with Ian of recognizing what moves can get rid of his stock and avoiding them.
Oh my goodness! I would have been so surprised if that had connected.
It was really smart, though, to go for it.
Oh, yes. Oh, wow, still managing to make it back.
And
Ivan,
the crowd is erupting right now.
Wow, acknowledging that Ian was going to jump from that ledge and punishing Ian with up air.
Oh no, and he does get witch timed, and this might be enough to do it. Again, Ian going for the Ian special, which is the down smash.
Oh my gosh.
That was really smart by Ian. So, to put into perspective what just happened, Ian knew that Cloud's up B has a hitbox, which is an attack that can hurt you.
Yes.
Uses his counter, and then goes for an attack that will solidify the win for that round, which was down smash.
Wow, great play there by Bayonetta.
But with that said, you know, the match didn't tell the whole side of the story. Because the Cloud, he did take a long time in order to get rid of the first stock of Ian, and he also did kill himself. Had an SD.
Yes, unfortunately, which is why this next match is going to be pretty interesting. I do believe this is double elimination, right? We're already here at double elimination, and this is 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 3.
That is correct. And Ivan actually opts to go Falco, which you don't see Falco a lot, but he definitely has a lot of tools that he can use.
We actually haven't seen him use Falco either.
He has not. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do. That was really, really smart right there. He hit his opponent.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that was really good. All right, so right there, Ivan, he used his neutral B, which is what the laser was, and the laser actually stops the character in the middle of the animation. So he kind of interrupted Ian's recovery option there.
Ian is, I thought he was going to do the Ian special part 2, which is a combo he's been doing to kill a lot of people off the top of the stage. Good job by Ivan of getting Bayonetta off the stage and taking stage control.
Ivan almost got that laser hit again from to catch Ian with his recovery.
I think he heard you and he did back though, just to make sure he did get a laser hit. Right, and Ivan right now trying to see if he can, bridge the gap right now because he is losing by a little bit. But if he can avoid kind of the hits that will get rid of his stocks, like Ian did to him earlier, definitely can still win this round.
I was seeing a lot of really good grabs from Ivan, so I'm pretty sure that he's kind of keeping wary of his own spacing too. There you go. There's that grab I was talking about. Oh, wow. Great play from Ian. So he fell below Ivan at that time and punished him with an up air. That up air I was talking about earlier was when you press upwards on your analog stick and then press A. That is your aerial.
And it's a very strong aerial, and Ian knew exactly when it would actually kill his opponent.
Ooh, this very scary situation right now.
Oh, no, not again! Oh. And very good show from both of them, but Ivan did manage to self-destruct for a second game in a row, which is really unfortunate. But I know we will see him again in the bracket for
because this is double elimination. So, hopefully he can make the run back. That was really interesting and great play from Bayonetta.
Yep, definitely, definitely. And we are about to go on to our next side of winner semis, if I'm not mistaken. I personally did not see either of these players yet, so I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to see what they're going to have in store for us.
Declan and Nathan.
Did you get to watch any of them play earlier by any chance?
I think I saw Declan play, actually.
Okay.
So, that's pretty interesting. So, I'm just hoping that out of the tournament, this tournament setting, that these kids are actually being able to have experience hands down. They're able to carry that onto the next tournament that they happen to attend, and they get encouraged more to attend them. So, here we are. This is winners semis. Winner semis. Yeah. We're still in winner semis.
I don't know if all of them need tournament experience with what I'm seeing. A lot of them look like
to be
they're
honest,
already
you're right, actually. It's pretty impressive what I'm seeing right now here at San Diego Comic-Con, the 12 and under tournament.
Yep. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U.
So, yes, I have seen Declan play.
And just to go over a couple points of the last match, just both of the players kind of knew when they needed to attack and when they didn't need to attack. And then the Bayonetta really understood Cloud's recovery, which was just really smart.
Taking aware that Cloud, I did mention this earlier, Cloud, when he uses a recovery, if he's not close enough, he actually doesn't get that invincibility that the ledge provides. So he kind of goes above it, and that leaves him vulnerable to get hit. So in that instant, the Bayonetta really realized it and down smashed, and that caught it.
Very, very smart.
We're actually seeing another Bayonetta on stream. So we have Declan versus Nathan. Now, this is pretty interesting. We haven't seen Little Mac on stream yet.
We have not. He's not used a lot, but he is a very good character. One of the things that makes him so good is his attacks come out very fast, as we see right now. And he hits very, very hard. Yes,
I mentioned earlier.
How hard does he hit? You can look right now at the last 10 seconds of this round. And he has combos. Like, for example, right there you saw.
Oh, okay. So what happened there was a clank. That's when two moves hit each other and they basically cancel each other out.
And it was very fortunate that that clank did come through for Nathan, or he might have been off stage.
Wow. He waited. He's very aware of which time right now, I guess, from spectating.
Yeah. And that's one thing that you do want to do when you do get to tournaments.
Oh my god!
Which time they KO punch from Little Mac. I did not know that was possible.
Oh, that is very possible, but it's very difficult to actually get that. That was really impressive. Great stuff by Nathan there. I mean, Declan, oh my goodness. But unfortunately, Nathan's going to take that. Declan, confused, getting his KO punch. You know, wow. That's kind of incredible.
But he clutched it in the end, which was just very good stuff. And this is a very interesting matchup because both of them have counters. They both can hit down B, and the other person has to respect it. If they go out and attack, they're going to get hit for it. And
this was
another
the
character
main.
with a counter.
Yeah. This was the Corrin main that we saw earlier. He was using the black skins female Corrin.
Okay. Corrin is a very solid character. Corrin probably does a little bit better versus Little Mac than Bayonetta because Corrin has more range on the attacks that Corrin can do.
You just have to be really wary because I was mentioning earlier, like Dark Pit side B, it has super armor. Super armor again. It's when you can get hit in the middle of the move, but the move will always finish its animation. So that's something that Little Mac actually has in all his C-stick attacks.
That's true, and it makes it very difficult to land unless you have a counter. Declan definitely realized that and used the counter to hit the ground, which is really smart of him.
So what I'm really liking right now from Nathan is his patience. He's not mindlessly just throwing it out. He's kind of being wary of the counters that his opponents are throwing at him.
And just as you mentioned the patience, he waited right there for the neutral B of Corrin to come through and then decided when he wanted to attack.
Ooh, right there, he got punished for using his counter. You see, when you use a counter, it does, oh, okay. Yeah, when you activate your counter, it's a really scary situation, but if you don't land it, it leaves yourself very vulnerable to get punished.
It does, and right there, Declan just took a lot of percentage because he did indeed miss the counter, just as you were saying, and got punished for it. And Nathan trying to catch Declan on the top platform, and Declan was being very evasive.
All right, so we're kind of staying straight neutral from these players. Neutral, like the way these players kind of stand on the ground and they're kind of their decision making. Ooh, that's kind of scary. I'm kind of surprised that didn't hit.
I think the platform is just a little bit too high.
Yeah.
So Declan can counter to not get hit by the up smash from Little Mac, but Declan's not going to get any damage off of it. Good job of Nathan maintaining stage control, just not letting his opponent back onto the stage.
Yeah, so right now, Declan's actually struggling a little bit, so he might get back on stage. But as I said, he regains control. Can he keep it, though? Ooh. Now, this is a really scary situation. I had mentioned earlier that Corrin has possibly the second best counter in the game with the knockback that it provides. Now, it's very possible that if Nathan charges a smash attack, oh, but he's going to take it right there.
And that was really smart. He noticed that Corrin kept using counter before he hit the platform.
That was a set.
Yes. So this time he did up B before Corrin even got the counter out. So that was very, very smart.
Yeah, it was a really scary situation because if Little Mac has that so much power in his smash attacks that if he would have hit Corrin with a fully charged smash attack and Corrin countered, he probably would have been dead.
Yes,
actually.
Definitely.
Oh, but here I think we do have now winners. Finals?
So I'm not sure if we're going to go directly into winner finals or if we're actually going to do the loser side. It looks like we are jumping into losers.
I think we're doing so. Losers, yes.
Yes. And I believe this is the Ness versus
Cloud?
No,
No.
the Luigi.
That's not.
We will find out in a moment.
Yeah. But thank you guys again for tuning in at San Diego Comic-Con. This is great. This is a 12 and under tournament for Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U.
If you know anybody that is interested in learning how to play Smash Brothers for the Wii U at a competitive level, tell them to tune in.
Of course.
Tell them to come to Twitch.
We wanna advertise basically to these children how to play the basics of the game, introducing some certain terminology, and what gets them to go to their local. You know, it's great community, all the friends we mentioned that they can make in the community, helping each other grow as a player. It's a lot of things that the community has to provide.
Most of my best friends started because of Smash Brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so It definitely does bring people together. This is how I met you through
Yeah,
Smash Brothers.
actually,
We're great friends now.
Yep. I've met a lot of my friends through this game as well, and it's really interesting because that goes beyond just with the area where I live. It's all over the world. But here we are. We have Hayden versus Brandon.
This is going to be a very interesting matchup because Hayden is so good at using the up B from Ness, as we can see right now, chasing his opponent with it. And Luigi isn't the best off stage when he's trying to come back to the edge.
Yes, I do believe that Luigi struggles a little bit to get back onto the stage. His recovery not being the best. His recovery in the up B.
Good roll coming in from Brandon right there to avoid the up smash by Hayden.
Ooh, wow, that pressure that Hayden's providing with the up airs, taking advantage of... Wow, that was a really good wait from Brandon. That was great. That was a great interpretation of patience.
Yes, he was hit onto the ground, and then he had to stand up because of a jab reset. And if you don't know what a jab reset is, sometimes when you hit the ground, if you do a weak attack onto your opponent, they have to stand up straight. And then you get a free strong attack on them afterwards.
So I like this movement that I'm seeing from Brandon.
It definitely has solid fundamentals. I'm wondering why he's in losing bracket right now, to be honest. And making great use of the roll right there.
Oh, he pressured his opponent to go low after... Oh, wow, after that down air, making him go low enough for him to get scared and unable to recover.
So great job by Brandon right there. And we were talking about Luigi's recovery. We did not touch on Hayden's recovery of Ness.
Ness actually has a pretty solid recovery if you know how to use it. It's really tricky. Actually, I'm a little surprised to see Ness in the tournament because just Ness's up B in general, it's really hard to actually land. You have to hit your own character, command the lightning bolt towards your character, and in wherever direction you hit your own character with the lightning bolt, that's the direction you get sent towards.
Exactly. And if you mess up, you actually might hit your character the wrong way.
Yeah, and SD.
Yeah. Hayden at least hit the right way. He was just a little too low to make it back to the edge this time. All right, so right now they chose to go to Dreamland, another stage with platforms. But this time there's a Wispy in the background who's actually going to blow wind and disrupt the characters just a little bit more.
Yeah, I believe we saw a tournament earlier where, a match earlier where Wispy had blown a direction where a character was on the stage, but since Wispy was blowing in that direction, that character ended up off stage, and unfortunately SD. You have to be very wary of stage hazards such as those.
So right now, Brandon's having a little bit more difficult time of getting in on Hayden because Hayden's making great use of the PK Fire and keeping his opponent out.
So now what Hayden's doing in this instant is, I mentioned earlier how sometimes players have different play styles. Hayden's playing a little bit more defensive this game. He wants to keep his opponent out. He does not want Brandon to go in and pressure him off stage, probably once again.
Which is very smart. You have to adapt. You have to switch up your game plan on the fly whenever you're playing this game. Well, Brandon tried again there too. But he just wasn't, I guess, expecting the get-up attack from Hayden. Which, don't forget, when you do grab the ledge, you can hit the A button and get up with an attack to hit your opponent.
Well, he whiffed himself around so that way he wouldn't get easily punished by Brandon. But unfortunately, still getting hit. Wow! So knowing that Hayden had nowhere to go because he had already jumped twice in the air, that's when you press the jump button twice, he punished him with an up smash, knowing that he had no other choice but to land either, on top of him or try to follow him around.
And that's part of the stage control that we were all talking about earlier as well.
Ooh, that was a little scary there. We mentioned how Luigi's off-stage game, could be kind of intimidating for himself.
And I like what Hayden did right there. Tried to be a little slick. He stayed on the top platform and then used his up B and went around the platform to try to hit Brandon. Hayden does forward air, but it's not quite enough to kill Brandon yet. And Brandon now does have max rage, which means all of his attacks are going to have the most knockback on them.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that earlier about the color of the percentages and what it could indicate. So now it's kind of scary to get hit by Brandon right now just because, but that's definitely going to take it. Really good awareness from Hayden. Ness does have a really good back throw. That's when you grab your opponent and you hit back on the analog stick. Now, Ness is one of those characters that his back throw kills relatively early. I want to say like roughly around 110%.
Yeah. And I mean, that was well beyond that threshold.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And Hayden right there using the reflecting property of his F smash to actually hit the fireball back. If you do time it right, you can reflect projectiles, like Luigi's fireball. And right now, this is anybody's game. Brandon, I'm positive, wants to just end this now, you know? Doesn't want to possibly have a third game.
He doesn't want to get impatient at the same time because now Hayden does stand with rage. Wow. Great wait again. I like this patient play.
I'm definitely a fan of it as well. And again, just waiting underneath until Hayden chooses an option and hitting him correctly for it. Tries to go for the up B with Luigi that would have definitely gotten rid of Hayden's stop. But it was risky, and he took a little bit of damage for it in the end.
So that back throw definitely not going to kill yet. Brandon's still standing at a pretty solid percent. Hayden having all this rage, still living. It seems like, oh my gosh!
The patience again coming into play right there.
That was so good. That was so good. That was a great example of patient play, paying off at the end. Not getting too antsy for that kill, although he did stand at a good 170-something%.
Yeah. Along with the display of patience, it's just great control and understanding of the character, of knowing that you could shield that move and then up B afterwards.
Yeah, that was great play. So, I believe now we have Geraldo and Caitlyn.
Yes, our other side, or
the loser side.
Yeah, another top 8 match coming into play right now.
And anyone could win this tournament right now.
Yeah, definitely. We have Bayonettas, we have Clouds, we have Luigis. We have a lot of characters that can do a lot of things. And these players, these 12-year-olds are so good. You can tell that they were practicing their craft.
And you know, this is the future of tournaments. I was discussing this with JC that whatever happens here, it can influence others to go out and compete. So whatever people could take in and learn from this tournament, they could possibly bring it up to the plate and show their friends could show their friends, family members, and more people get involved with the scene that way.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have a Lucina. I am such a huge fan of watching Lucina as a character because I always liked Marth, but then Lucina, you know, it's just kind of another Marth, but it's not so much about spacing your moves so that you hit with what's called a tipper.
Tipper, yes.
Yep. Because with Marth, if you do like, let's say an F smash and you hit with the very end of the move, it actually does more damage and more knockback.
Yes.
But Lucina doesn't have to worry about that. Lucina can hit you with any part of the sword, does a little bit less damage overall, but doesn't have to really worry about that coming into play.
Yeah, I was mentioning that Lucina has tipper, but it's not as big as Marth's tipper.
And the Lucina is fighting a Cloud, which is also another great character, obviously. Another sword character, but a little more range than Lucina.
Yes. The thing is with Cloud has a limit. It's intimidating. It's very intimidating to a player that doesn't know how to deal with it because, you know, limit, you know, has a lot more knockback on the set of moves that Cloud can have. Limit side B, limit up B, limit down B. Although it does leave you very vulnerable if you do limit down B. But moves like, you know, limit neutral B, it's gonna be really interesting.
3, 2, 1, go!
All right, so we're starting here on Final Destination.
And that was really smart of Caitlyn right there. Of just knowing that when your opponent ran in, to just do the F smash and just stop your opponent from running in. But the tides have turned very fast. Geraldo is firing back. So definitely being more aggressive despite the fact that he was called out.
So what I'm seeing a lot from Caitlyn is kind of weaving around. Caitlyn's really good at avoiding getting hit, at least for the most part. And Geraldo really catching her.
And that was really smart right there by Geraldo. He knew his opponent was going to air dodge into the ground, so he waited and then did an attack.
Oh my goodness! So acknowledging, oh my goodness, at the taunt. Acknowledging that Caitlyn was kind of vulnerable at the instant because of up B, got punished with the up smash, and fell towards the stage, and Grotto caught her with limit down B. That was the move I mentioned that has actually a lot of, you know, vulnerability. Ooh.
But Caitlyn was not deterred by any means. Even though finishing touch did get rid of Caitlyn's stock, she knew that she could just get Cloud off the stage, hit Cloud a couple times, and then Cloud would not be able to grab the ledge, even after using up B.
So I just like the roles that I'm seeing from Caitlyn right now. Caitlyn, you know, kind of, as I mentioned earlier, knowing how to weave around her opponent, but that's not really phasing Grotto.
Grotto clearly has fought this style before, so he knows how to deal with it. But Caitlyn, you know, is clearly adapting a little bit. That time, Caitlyn did not roll away. Actually decided to use jab twice, which is when you just hit A.
That forward smash, almost connecting. Now, what we're seeing right here is straight neutral and pressure at the same time. So Grotto is actually trying to pressure Caitlyn to approach him with those neutral Bs, but also forcing her to hold shield and then punish with a grab, which we just saw right there.
Yeah, and this is when it gets very scary for Caitlyn because that damage is in the red right now. So if Grotto does hit Caitlyn with a strong attack, Caitlyn will lose at least this round. And Grotto hitting Caitlyn off of the stage and then charging limit, which is really smart.
Ooh, caught Caitlyn's landing with neutral B.
And that's one of the benefits of when you get stage control, is you have a lot more options that you can do to your opponent that they have to deal with. So, and in that situation, it was landing on the ground, but Grotto was ready for it in time to perfect neutral B.
And now we're picking stages.
And characters, apparently.
That is her secondary. We were mentioning this earlier, how she seems to alternate only between those two characters. So we mentioned how most people have a main, and then some people have a secondary to cover certain matchups that maybe they're not familiar with and they're not comfortable. You know, matchups being what character does best against another character. So maybe Caitlyn thinks that Zero Suit Samus is better against Cloud than her Lucina.
It's definitely possible. Zero Suit Samus does have a nice projectile, which maybe will help her deal with Geraldo's projectile. And Zero Suit Samus is very good off stage, and since Cloud is not the best character off stage, that might be what's going through Caitlyn's head.
Yeah, maybe she realized that after the first stock of the last game, he was unable to make it back on stage. So, but right now we're seeing Caitlyn struggle to land back onto the bottom platform,
which is just really smart of Geraldo to kind of, again, display some patience and when deciding to use that up air.
Ooh, realizing that Caitlyn was going in for possibly a dash attack or an attack in general and punishing her with neutral B's limit.
And the down air coming through from Geraldo, which does spike your opponent straight down. And if they're already on the ground, it hits them straight up.
Yes, as I mentioned, how Cloud is a sword character, there's parts of the sword that doesn't have a hurt box. A hurt box being that when a character does a move, they kind of extend their limbs in a certain direction. If they get hit in that part, they extend their hurt box, because if he was in the neutral, he probably wouldn't get hit. Wow, but we're watching all these up air strings by Caitlyn, trying to make sure that Geraldo has a tough time landing, although he manages to regain himself.
It might have been only temporary, because Caitlyn has been chasing so well. And again, chasing is when you just keep the pressure on your opponent nonstop. But Geraldo does have limit again and rage.
Wait! Oh my goodness.
It was very, very close right there. Caitlyn having, making sure to DI correctly though, which again is when you kind of hit the analog stick in the right direction when you're flying through the air from an attack.
Yes. DI does stand for directional input.
And we have both characters right now on their last stock. This is anyone's game. And Geraldo looking for Caitlyn to land on the ground, but Caitlyn was smart and just stayed on the platform that time.
Yeah, she realized that the pressure that she could put when Geraldo's on the platform is a little bit greater. Look at that. Run and up smash, another up smash connecting.
This has been one thing that Caitlyn's really good at doing, is keeping her opponents above her in the air, whether it's with the up air or the up smash.
Ooh, that definitely would have probably taken Caitlyn's stock.
And an up B coming in from Geraldo, just tacking on the damage, making sure that that damage does become that deep red, so that more moves will actually get rid of the stock.
So acknowledging that Geraldo had limit charge, she fell downwards and held shield. Great move on her part, still keeping her stock. This could definitely be anyone's game. So since Caitlyn has her percentage at 141 with the dark red, she has rage at this moment. She could also be prone to dying at this point too, but so can Geraldo.
And this is the same situation that happened earlier to Geraldo.
Oh my, Caitlyn, can this man land? Oh my gosh!
But she lives.
She
rolls twice.
She rolls through
Okay.
Geraldo. Wow,
And
very close
right
game
now.
right
The
now.
S-Match takes it. Game number 2 going to Caitlyn.
So this is 1-1 at this moment. That was pretty intense. Yeah. Wow, great.
So, yeah,
play.
that was great. And just good job of Caitlyn of making, again, adaptations, which is when you see something that's going wrong and your game plan isn't working, so you switch up your game plan and think of a new one so that you can defeat your opponent.
At that moment, Caitlyn would have lost her stock and lost the game if she had just not rolled twice from that forward smash. So that's really interesting to see how she acknowledged it and reacted to it. You know, human reaction, it's a little difficult, but human reaction time normally is like 11 frames. That is 11 frames of animation that you could acknowledge. So Caitlyn was actually able to acknowledge that and play around it.
Yeah, just good stuff. And right now, Geraldo is actually decided to go right back to Dreamland. And Geraldo went back to Dreamland, and I guess he doesn't feel really that the stage plays that much play into it.
All right, so
it's working out for her.
So Caitlyn standing at 137 with Geraldo standing at 15%. What a fresh stock that was. Can Caitlyn bring this back though?
We saw it happen last game. Definitely not going to count Caitlyn out because Caitlyn is doing exactly what she does best, putting her opponent in the air and then racking on damage.
Geraldo managing to stay his ground. Ooh, but misses the down smash. Flicking downwards on the C-stick there.
And then Caitlyn does get Geraldo off stage. It was only for a moment. And really smart stuff by Geraldo, not allowing Caitlyn to land by using that up air.
Yeah, that up air actually being a good way to use as an anti-air. We explained that earlier too. Whenever your opponent's up in the air and you give them a little hard time. Ooh, unfortunately recovering too low to make it back on stage. This could be anyone's game right now. This is game 3.
Especially if Caitlyn gets Geraldo in the air again, just like she did last game. And again, the roll coming into play, and oh no!
Dropping shield at that moment. Didn't roll twice this time. Dropping shield and getting hit by the forward smash. Amazing play from both Caitlyn and Geraldo.
Definitely. And remember, we were just talking about game 2, how Caitlyn would have lost if she didn't roll twice, and that time she didn't roll twice, and she
instead she held shield, which was really good. But if she stayed in shield, she would have kept her stock.
Exactly. Great stuff. Caitlyn still gonna get a prize because she did make top 16, and I believe everyone in top 16 does get some type of prize. But Geraldo's moving on.
Top 16. Okay.
And next up, I believe we have Brandon and Declan? Declan, sorry.
Yes.
And this is going to be our loser quarters match. So whoever wins this stays in the tournament. Whoever loses this actually will get 5th place at a Nintendo event at San Diego Comic-Con.
Ooh, no pressure. No pressure. After this, we actually have losers semis and then losers finals. Okay.
And this was the Luigi player earlier. I definitely remember seeing him.
Yes.
Made great use of the up B from Luigi.
Very patient play, actually, so.
And against a Corrin.
Yes, Declan is the same Corrin that we saw earlier.
Yep. And Corrin generally does pretty good versus Luigi because Luigi slides back whenever his shield is hit, just like the tooltip just said a second ago. And Corrin has a lot of range. But
she does. Her forward smash, actually, when you flick forward on the C-stick, ooh, getting hit by the counter, though, is the size of a platform.
that is long.
That's perfectly demonstrated right there. He's basically at the tip of the platform. Do you see how it extends forward?
Yes.
Wow, catching is landing on the platform with up smash, kind of not letting Brandon land and gaining control. The thing is about Corrin's forward smash is since it has that tipper that we were talking about earlier, it goes to projectiles.
But with all of this said about Corrin, Luigi is a very good character as well. One of the reasons is that Luigi combos very well. However, you can use Corrin's counter to kind of stop a couple of those combos, and in this case, get a stop.
Now, the thing is, acknowledging that Corrin countered and was vulnerable, Brandon went for that very hard punish.
This is a serious match we have on our hands. It's only been a minute and a half into the match, and 2 stocks have been gone already. And right now, it seems like Brandon is catching on to the to Declan's habit of counter and kind of waiting just a little bit before he opts to do an attack.
See, we noticed earlier that Brandon's a really patient player. So, oh my gosh.
Speaking of patience, that up B was not patient at all.
That thumbs up next to the crowd. Wow, that was incredible.
I think he has a coach back there. Like, I did it, coach. But just, that match could have gone either way. But again, we were talking about when you adapt to your opponent. Brandon realized that, well, I lost my first stock to counter. Maybe I'll not attack right away.
Yep. And he, as we mentioned, he is that type of player that he could just stay patient and wait. And that's exactly what he ended up doing. He's like, okay, I keep getting hit unnecessarily, so what can I do to beat this? Started waiting longer, waited for Declan to throw out a counter, and punish his counter itself.
Yes, very, very smart stuff. And good understanding. He's only 12 years old and understood the ins and outs of not just his character, but also his opponents.
Yeah. These 12-year-olds are really good.
I'm glad no one put me in a tournament when I was their age.
So here we are on Dreamland. We have seen that Wispy taking some stocks here, so hopefully these players can be really wary of the stage hazards that Dreamland can provide.
And Declan deciding, well, you adapted, I'm going to do a little bit as well. I'm going to go Bayonetta this time. Another character with a good counter as well, though.
Yep. Now, as we've seen, Declan's a little counter happy.
He is, but maybe that'll win for him, maybe it won't. We will find out in a little bit. And again, that patience paying off for Brandon, just rolling away right there. And what happened right there is that Bayonetta used down B too many times. So you still can counter with it, but you don't get as much time to hit your opponent.
Yeah. Normally, when your down B isn't used as much, the duration of time that your opponent is left slowing down in time, it's longer.
Right now, Declan trying to get rid of Brandon's stock. He does have Brandon at kill range. And Brandon doing the classic up B that he's been doing all day today with Luigi. Which is very difficult to do, to land in the time. And if you're wrong, you get hit very, very hard for it.
So this is really interesting what we're seeing right now. Brandon's actually not approaching Declan.
Which is, it's interesting for 2 reasons. One, Luigi wants to get in close to do the most damage, but 2, Luigi right now doesn't have the lead. Normally that player needs to kind of approach their opponent.
Definitely, but he does have something that can take Declan's stock, and that is Rage, and that is definitely going to take it right there with the taunt. That's one of my favorite taunts.
Declan fires right back with the up smash off of the witch time. And he says, you taunt, I can do it too.
Oh, wow.
And both these characters are combo heavy, so that means they both have really good combos they can hit their opponents with and just keep tacking on damage after they get one hit, which leads them to another one.
It's just interesting to see. Both these players are definitely having fun, using their taunts, taking advantage of the character movesets that they have to provide. Declan being really wary of where he is and trying to kind of avoid Brandon weaving in and out now. Ooh.
And it seems like now Brandon's actually approaching a lot more. Which It's paying off at the moment, but he does get witch time, and is up smash enough to do it? It's not, but really smart by Declan, knowing that up smash wasn't going to get rid of the stock, so he jumps and does an up air to get just a little more damage out of it.
Every percent counts, especially in Super Smash Bros.
And Declan combos into an up B right there, just getting more and more damage on Brandon, but Brandon is getting rage as all of this happens.
So although that Brandon might have all this percentage, it's kind of scary. As we saw the first stock, this could be anyone's game right now.
And
all it takes is one up smash from Luigi.
And this is the other part about when you are in your first tournament, is making sure you don't get too nervous when you are at high damage like this.
Ooh, but is this it? This is it. Getting an up smash on the top platform. That nod acknowledging the great gameplay.
We have our referee coming over right now to make sure everyone is clear on the rules.
All right, so currently since I believe it was no, it was not. It was Ivan on the left.
Yes.
So, no, it's not Ivan.
Ivan was the one on...
I think it was Declan. It's Declan.
3, 2, 1, go!
But since we saw a lot of counters from Declan, you know, he still was able to counter a few times, but was not using it as much as we saw.
Yeah, which was, again, good job of adapting, of knowing when to counter and when not to. And right there, he knew to counter and got his opponent already to 50% essentially because of it. And it seems like without the platforms, it's a little more difficult for Brandon right now. So remember, stages do come into play in this game. It's very unique to the Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U.
This seems to be the stage that most players are very comfortable playing on, probably because it's a flat stage, doesn't have any interference, no platforms. I understand that certain new players, they're really comfortable on just, you know, playing straight neutral.
That's going to become the new joke. Instead of Fox only, it's going to be Smash Brothers for Wii U only. Final destination, no items.
That's real stuff right there. That's some serious business.
Right now, Declan, this is kind of how the last game started off as well, where Declan had quite the lead, but Brandon managed to take the first stock. Didn't win the game, but he did take the first stock.
So Brandon's actually kind of struggling on landing right now. Declan kind of covering his landing with side B. That is what that kick with the red sparks does. Ooh, but punishing him with forward smash and a taunt.
And really, really good stuff to Declan of recognizing that if I can hit with side B, I might be able to hit with the forward smash as well. And he got his opponent to the range where he would lose his stock to the F smash.
Knew he was going to counter twice because Declan was really counter happy earlier and got punished for it again with the taunt.
In anyone's game right now, they're both on tournament stock. Whoever takes this gets to stay inside of the bracket.
And whoever loses has to go home.
You'll still be happy, though. This is Pride's experience for anybody.
Oh, of course.
And right now, Declan trying to stay safe, knowing that Brandon hasn't really punished the side B from Bayonetta quite yet. But the counter is coming in a lot, and remember, Brandon has hit that move a lot right now.
Definitely. So I think since Brandon's actually aware of the counters that Declan's throwing out, he's trying to opt for more grabs. And that's a really smart option because grab is the only thing that wouldn't get punished by counter.
Definitely true.
So he's kind of just staring at him from across the stage and kind of forcing Declan to go to him.
And I think Brandon's trying to decide the best time to go in, and Declan is saying, there is never a good time to go in. I'm going to keep on throwing out these attacks safely. But Brandon is chasing down Declan, and this is, if he gets the up B, he will win the match. This is how he's taken a lot of stock so far. And going right there for a ledge trump.
Yeah, what a ledge trump is when a player gets onto the ledge when another player is on there and hits him with a back air, but that's going to clank! We mentioned clanking. Oh my goodness, this could be anyone's game right now.
Is Brandon going to be able to land, or is Declan going to keep him on the edge? And the F smash comes through.
The forward smash, that fist clench of victory.
Wow.
Great set from both of these players.
That was beautiful to watch. I'm excited. I hope you guys at home are excited. That was such a good match going down to the wire between both of these phenomenal players.
It kind of has me on the edge right now. Wow.
I feel like they're big brother. I'm just like, oh man, what's going to happen?
That Clank at the very end, that was incredible. So I mentioned it earlier. Clank is when two moves kind of hit each other and they cancel each other out. At that moment, Bayonetta actually has clanking properties. So when another character is in the middle of doing a multi-hit move, chances are that move is going to clank. So right there, realizing that, you know, Declan's still clutching it out. That was great play from both these players.
And along with that, sometimes you think, oh, well, I got the witch time. This time I'm actually going to win the match. Even though Declan didn't win in that moment, he still kept composure. He still said, you know what, I still can win this game. It's okay. And just good stuff. And both of them walking off very happy.
Yeah, Brandon playing very well.
Beautiful sportsmanship, you know. And it's good to see people 12 and under just staying friends even after the match.
Of course.
A beautiful thing to watch.
I did mention this earlier, how even when you happen to lose, taking into account what you did wrong in that match and using it to better yourself as a player, that's really important into growth. So, you know, hopefully these players, all these players that participate in this tournament, could walk out of this tournament feeling like they can improve in something and become a better player in their local tournament.
Yeah. And now we have Gerardo versus Ivan.
All right, so we're going to be seeing Cloud Dittos. We say Dittos when a player goes the same character as the opposing player. So that's pretty interesting to see. We're going to see two Clouds on stream.
And this is not a, oh, you use that character, I'm going to use the character as well. Both of these players made it this far into the bracket by using this character.
Yep.
So they both understand the weaknesses and both the strengths. And right now, both of them fighting over stage control. We like to call this the neutral. No one quite had an advantage, but Ivan runs away with that. Still at 0% right now. Hits the opponent off the stage once, understands Cloud's weakness, and then forward airs him, which is a spike.
The biggest advantage you can take on Cloud is his recovery. Unfortunately, when he's too off stage, oh my goodness. When he's too off stage, he really doesn't have much of an option but to go one direction, and he took advantage of the fact that Cloud's forward air, when you're in the air and you press the analog stick forward and A, it has spiking properties. So spiking is when that move hits that character and they get shot downwards.
It might be me, but I have a feeling that Ivan's best friend at home mains Cloud. He's definitely familiar with this matchup. And a matchup is a term that we do use to describe just any opponent that you're fighting, any character.
Yes.
Knowing how to fight Cloud as a matchup, knowing how to fight Bayonetta as a matchup, all of them we just consider a matchup.
Wow, so the stage presence that Ivan has here is insane! Wow!
And Ivan is just doing everything right now, but Gerardo is definitely down a lot, but with Rage, there is a comeback factor. He can still win this. It would be difficult, but it's possible. Especially when he does have limit.
Catching his jump with neutral B.
And remember, when you do jump, you don't exactly have all of the same options you have available to you on the ground. You can't shield anymore, spot dodge or roll. So it was just a really good job of Ivan of recognizing that Gerardo couldn't really do much to stop it.
So what we saw in that instance was proper stage control. Very strong stage control too. And I do believe I hear a character switch or stay.
Which is a great strategy. Sometimes if the main character you want to use isn't working out, just go use someone else that you've practiced with a little bit before.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, we are seeing a different character. We're seeing Ryu on stream. Ryu, the famous Street Fighter character.
And yes, and Ivan opting to switch despite the fact that he did win the last round.
Wow, that was actually really incredible. He comboed down tilt. Oh, he comboed down tilt from into Shoryuken. That is Dragon Punch. Down tilt is when you use one of your tilt moves. That's when you hold down on the analog stick and just press A.
I'm not sure if he's playing Street Fighter or Smash Brothers right now, but he is doing everything right. But just Ivan displaying how versatile I guess he is as a player. You know, meaning he can use a lot of characters.
All right, I'm convinced Ivan's played this game too much. He's canceling out of his.
And Ivan taking it with a spike, thumbs up to the camera. Great performance right there. Not only does he understand Cloud's ins and outs, but Ryu's as well, apparently.
All right. Wow, that was actually incredible. He did everything right in that set. Both players, great job for making it this far. Ivan proceeding forward.
Yes.
And I don't know what game I'm watching anymore. That was such great Ryu play. Knowing what combo into what, it's really crucial to know what you could opt out for as a character that you are playing as. So we saw Cloud, we saw Ryu. It's really interesting footsies that we were seeing there.
And high-level play. I don't want to play either of these people in tournaments, and I was a pro player, I thought. Maybe not anymore.
Great play. So we currently have...
So we are going to cut to a break for a moment, and we will be right back with you guys for some more amazing play. I believe top 4 is up next. I'm excited.
All right, perfect. See you guys soon.